Well, welcome back to the Queen's Table. I am Karen Curry. I'm so happy to have my sister queen with me, Miss Gloria Witherspoon from the Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, girl. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for this conversation. I'm ready.
Good. So we're going to have a conversation today around the title of this session is called Cultivating That Boss Lady Vibe. And I love that because it is a vibe, right?
It is a vibe.
You have got to get into this whole mindset of I am a boss lady. And I think we've said it a few times before on this podcast. I am an ordained minister. So one of the things that I had done a session just recently with some other women, the word for lady boss in Spanish is jefa. And so we were saying we are going to get that jefa anointing. So that's what it's about today is finding that inner jefa, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because male is jefe.
Right.
Okay.
So we want to just sort of find that boss lady inside of us.
Absolutely.
And it is definitely stepping into a mindset and what we have talked about with Thule Community Development Group is that our case managers, and we had a session with the case managers a little bit ago, they canvass the community, and our heartbeat is for East Mims, right? I was born and raised here. This is my people. Yeah. And so we understand that East Mims has been underserved for decades now. Yeah. So we want to make sure that all of our families know what is available, what services, what resources, what they can tap into to sort of level up in their finances and their relationships, everything that's out there. Yeah. So as we canvassed the community, as we first stood up this Community Link program back in, I think it was March, our case managers were coming back saying people are really interested in starting businesses. So we are standing up a entrepreneurship class, which will be meeting I believe it's the 4th, and I don't have Crystal and Tay with me, so I'm confused because they know everything. But I believe it's the 4th Wednesday of the month from 4:30 to 6:30. We will be empowering not just women, but anybody who's looking at starting a business. So, Gloria.
Yes.
What I'm finding is that as we are establishing Thule Community Development Group, I am wanting to reach out to Black businesses for everything that we need. Okay. But what I'm finding is that they're not ready. In a lot of instances, they're not ready. So tell us what the Space Coast Black Chamber can do to help businesses be prepared to receive contracts and to receive business. What do you guys do?
So I will say I'm really excited about this year. So I think just to put it into context. So the chamber is, we just turned 3 years old.
Awesome.
And the president, founder, and CEO is also a Black woman, a boss lady,
okay.
Victoria Jones. She's an Army veteran.
Okay.
And, she was an educator, and it came to her in her sleep that she wanted to, just build a platform where Black businesses would be advocated for at the state and at the local level. And so I gave that context because what I'm excited for about this year is the things that we're talking about is she's made connections just the past few months in DC to bring training for federal contracting and things like that to bring it to us.
Awesome.
So those things are actually in place. And in the next couple months or so, we'll kind of see. One of the things I love about like our website, we have what we call a business launch pad, right? Because we're in the Space Coast.
Yeah. Awesome.
So we want to make sure, we're launching business to a new level. That's what our tagline is. And so there's a launch pad there where we're constantly putting information. So anybody can go to the website. You don't need to be a member, to access the website. But what we want to do is make sure that we put information in the widest dissemination as possible. Also on our Facebook page, we just put information out about grants. So it's different businesses that want to do grants. And we also, we recommend things like SCORE. You have what I've learned in Brevard County, we have organizations that say, hey, come over here, we'll coach you for $150. Well, some of our businesses don't have $150, right? So we kind of make sure that our business owners know that they have avenues like SCORE. SCORE is free. You can get you a business coach for free.
Okay.
And, while that person may not look like you, they are volunteering there. So their sole purpose in life is to make sure you have everything you need to thrive. And so I think, we are partnering with SCORE. We're using our businesses that we know have been sustainable. So one of the things that we're doing this year is we're going to them and we're going to encourage them to be volunteer coaches. And even if they don't want to, do it with SCORE, because they have their target audience, we're also going to have a list of people to, align them with mentors, align them with coaches, align them with somebody who can just help them talk through what they want to do, what's that supposed to look like, and to let them know that they're not alone. Because me and Victoria were talking once, and I'm like, no idea is sovereign. So if you are thinking about doing it, there's somebody out there that's already done it and is really good at it and is willing to give you that game, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're cultivating as we're bringing these businesses together, to let them know, your job, once you reach a level of success, with the 1 to 3 year mark, you get to your 3 year mark, you kind of know what you're doing. Your job is to give that game back. So there is actually and I don't have the advertisement for it yet, but I'll make sure I get it to you. So on the 18th of October, there's a free networking event that's going to be, it's in Cocoa at the Aqua Lounge. But the goal is to have these types of events where they're free and you have a speaker come and they talk to you about a topic, not too long, because networking is the plan. And then they leave you with something. And so our goal is to make sure that every engagement, we leave those who decide to engage with us with something that they can take away, whether it's a resource, whether it's now you know how to write a grant, whether it's signing up for classes later. So those are some of the things that we're going to do. And, being connected with you now and being connected with Miss Sonia Mallard, we want to be able to shift some of those things to the Titusville and Mims area because it's already heavy in Central Brevard, right? Like it's already heavy in other areas of Brevard. So those are a lot of things that we've been talking about in the last couple months.
Yeah, we definitely need you guys up this way because, like I said, this community has been underserved for so many years. Not just usually when we use that terminology, it's about like bank funding and investments from government and things like that. But just in nonprofits, we don't have a lot of attention up here in nonprofits. We don't a lot of the grant funding misses us completely. So we're changing that. We're definitely changing that. But so now on your other hat that you wear is that you're a consultant or a coach.
Yes.
To help with leadership development.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that, about what how long have you been doing
So
that?
I will say, I just retired from the United States Air Force. So I served for 25 years, and the military is real big on a coaching style of leadership. But I'm also a big fan of credentials. So I went to school to perfect that craft, right? So not just throw myself out there and I'm like, now I'm a coach, right? So I also want to make sure I don't put myself in a box because I put leadership development, but it's really development overall because you coach the person, not the problem, right? Not the situation. And so the reason why I'm so passionate about coaching is because, I'm not a counselor. I can't diagnose you and then give you activities. I'm not a mentor because a mentor is in your technical space and then can give you, the things that you need to get to where you want to get in one specific area. So as a coach, I get to help people in whatever stage of life they're in. So if they're transitioning from one career to another, if they were formerly incarcerated and they're re-entering the workforce and they're re-entering, I can coach them through the challenges that come with that. Because again, you coach the person. So from all life stages, I can assist somebody with unlocking their full potential because I'm not giving them the answers. They are coming up with the answers based off of, the questions that I ask them. Okay. So I think coaching in and of itself is good for all ranges of someone's life and not just in stages. And that's what I want listeners to know. With me, you can come to me like, okay, I don't know what to do with my life. But the truth is you do know, just nobody's not there to ask you the right questions. And so that's what I do.
I like that. So a part of what we do is case management. So I think it kind of overlaps a little bit with that coaching is we're not giving anyone answers. We're sitting down, we're assessing, finding out where you are right now and where you want to be. You identify where you want to be.
Yes.
We're not going to tell you where you need to be. And then just kind of creating that roadmap together. So if I was a young woman coming to you saying, I want to start a business, you know, right now maybe I have a GED, maybe I don't. But I want to start, let's say I've got this nail business. You know, I know how to do nails great. So what's my first step? What would I do? Let me put it this way, because we know the first step as far as technically, I got to go to SunBiz and I've got to get my, we know that stuff. But mentally, how do we help women prepare for just getting that done? It's like this breakthrough that needs to happen.
Yes,
Would you agree?
that's such a good question. So I actually have a best friend who, over the last 3 years, she has a very great concept, but she has not taken any steps to do anything. So we're kind of working through that. So what I would tell somebody is market research is what I'm learning is really important. Who is doing what you're doing in your immediate area?
Okay.
And what does that look like? What does, you could be like, I want my own shop, but you can't have your own shop now. So do you have space in your home? Do you have space anywhere else? What is that going to look like for you? So I think actually sitting down and writing down what it's going to look like first, and then taking steps to do that and understanding, your first 1 to 3 years, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. So be mentally prepared for that. And so I would use my own personal advice. Like I get taken care of very well by Uncle Sam for retiring, right? Yeah. But the best advice that I got was, as an entrepreneur, as you're building your business, you still need some type of capital, right? And so you're going to have a lot of nights where you're tired and you're sleepy and you don't feel like it. But if you want your business to grow, you're going to have to work and build your business at the same time. You're going to have 2 jobs.
Yep.
Because you have to buy equipment. You have to do all of that. And don't hesitate to ask questions. I've met more people on Instagram that I've never met in my life than, I've had in real person, because you'll be surprised. You have, nail techs and they doing all this stuff. You reach out to them. They go, oh, girl, here you go. No problem. And I think as women, that is hard for us to do, because the world tells us we're supposed to be at each other's throat and we're not going to help each other. But that is not the case. Yeah. Because, if you found me and you ask me the question, I'm going to help you. And it is like that in so many different areas.
So let's break it down a little bit more, because I too have those folks in my life that they have big dreams. Yeah, they have good ideas. They have all this stuff going on, and they'll have passion for this thing at this moment. They'll spin their wheels on it for a little bit, and then it dies out. And what is it that's holding? I mean, how do you coach somebody who just can't seem to get going? What is that thing that's holding them?
So I think it's fear, right? Like you're scared of something, but you have to figure out, you have to nail down what exactly you're scared of, and then be able to push past it. Like we're all scared. Me, I had a little cushion, retiring. And I always like to use Victoria's story. She woke up and was like, I'm not going to be an educator. I'm going to start Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce. It's like, wow, right? Yeah. So I think it's pushing past that fear and trusting yourself. This depending on who listens to the podcast, people might get mad, but I tell Vicky all the time, if you want something done, ask a Black woman. We are extraordinary in making $1 out of 15 cents. Yeah, we are extraordinary with making things shake, making things happen, and we do it in our own lives. And so sometimes it just takes a minute to sit back and be like, you know what? I've come through this, I've come through that, and I am here, and this is what I want to do. And writing down a plan helps you stay on course and not just give up.
Yeah.
And so when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Mm-hmm. And even if you got you a nice little notebook that they have, at five below, because I always say the story wrong, 5 below. And they have those little nice notebooks. Write the things you need to do. Mm-hmm. I've had a notebook that I've kept for the last 2 years for my business. And I didn't check everything off on there yet. But I just take my time and understand that it's a process.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the process. Mm-hmm. And I'm working through the process because, slow is fast. You're not going to get everything as soon as as soon as you want it. And even though you might have, you looking on Instagram and you looking on Facebook and people look like they, they're there, they made it, they making all this money. But they had to start somewhere, and it was probably exactly where you were.
Yeah.
And so I would, remember, okay, what do I need to do? I need to go in SunBiz. How much they call? Oh, that's $190. All right, let me put that up. Boom. Mm-hmm. Got my thing in SunBiz. I need an EIN. You write all of that stuff out and then utilize your resources. Look at the Space Coast Black Chamber of Commerce website, the things that we put out there. If you're not a member, feel free to send an email. Hey, I'm trying to start a business. I don't know where to start because we will help you with that. While, we love membership, once you blow up, come be a member because that costs money, right? But as you're growing, that's our goal, is to make sure that you turn that hustle into a multi-million-dollar business. Personal wellness is a mega $1-million business. Okay. Hair, nails, women pay a lot of money to look good.
We do.
And so if that is the profession that you are in, know that there is a space for you and you plan properly. You can get all of those things and be okay with traveling. Mm-hmm. Be okay with getting out of your community and being mobile because people like convenience. So just think about those types of things.
Okay. So what would you say to the women who are looking to be an influencer? Like, they're not really selling anything. Mm-hmm. Is that a real business?
It is.
It is?
It is. So what I realize is that's also a slow growing thing. You have to, it is hard to go viral on the internet. It don't seem like it because it look like everybody is going viral. But you have to figure out, what are you giving an audience? And are you consistent? I was trying to do like those little 30-second dance videos, and it took me 6 hours. And I'm like, how do people do this? I don't understand. This is insane. But what I realized is consistency. Yeah. If they're like, I want to be an influencer, this is what I want to do, consistency. And I always use, and I don't know how many people follow him. Somebody may be familiar. So Wallow267, I've never met him a day in my life, but I watched him from the time he got released from prison. He was incarcerated. And he would, he's and he's making these videos and he's screaming and he's saying a lot of great things. And I'm like, but I found myself wondering what Wallow was doing, what he was saying. And he said something one time, I seen him on a video. He says, it's 8 million people in the world. I only need 1 million. Everybody's not going to like me. And that's fine. Everybody's not going to like my content. I just need 1 million people out of this 8 million to like me. And the stuff he was doing, and I've watched him grow. Okay. And there, I don't know him, but I was just like, I remember his first post and going, what's this Joker doing? And now I look for him to see, what he's going to say, because his message resonated with a whole population of people that was not being tapped into.
So I would be prone to tell a young woman who is going down that path. And okay, let me just be real. My children, my son, both of my children are into entertainment. Mm-hmm. And one of them actually has a degree in theater, and the other one has a pretty active Spotify account. He's doing really good. Mm-hmm. But I keep saying, no, get a job, get a real job. So I feel like that the glamour of that kind of captivates our young people, and they feel like, I don't have to cultivate these skills over here. Yeah. I don't have to do what other people have to do to start a business. This is going to be my business. And I'm just kind of like, how do we coach them? What do we say to them,
They absolutely do. Before people, because a lot of the people who are influencers, they have people investing in them. Okay. And before somebody invests their money into you, you have to have a plan.
Yeah.
They have to know what you're doing, who's your target audience, who's your market base. So you have to turn what you're doing into a business. Wallow, like he's a business. He definitely got an LLC. Like you have to make your brand your business. That is work, right? You're not going to just wake up and be famous. Everybody, you know, all the things that look like it's happening overnight, it is not.
And effortlessly.
Those influencers, they are a business. And, you know, this might be too old depending on who listen, but Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man.
Okay.
Right? So that's the mindset that I think our young ones need to understand. You do need to have a marketing plan. You do need to know how much social media costs. You do need to, because if you don't think that people pay that money to have their stuff sponsored and go everywhere, you're fooling yourself. Okay. So you have to have, if that's what you want to do, you have to do it properly. And you have to turn yourself into a business, and then you have to run that business. It's work. And that's when people are like, oh, you know, I don't work, I have my own business. I said, then you're not doing it right. Because if you're not working, when I'm working on my business, because I do a whole bunch. Uncle Sam pays me, I got a full-time job, I got an extra job, and I'm doing this stuff. And I'm, you know, trying to grow my business. So I'm up late night. Yeah. And when somebody asks me what I'm doing, I'm working. Yeah. I'm always working. Yeah. When you sleep, I'm working.
Yeah, and I think people say you got to have several jobs, or you got to have a few jobs, and I say you have to have streams of income. You do. Because you can have a passive stream of income. You can. That's not taking up all your time, so you don't feel like you have two jobs. Right. But there's ways to leverage certain things. Like I've learned, I write. So who can I write for? You know what I mean? Because I can do that from home, and I can do that on the weekends. I can do that whenever I want to, as long as I get, you know, whatever. But I think we need to, as women, as Black women, trying to level up. We need to look at ways that we can do it passively. Yes. Some passive income type of opportunities. And I don't really know what all of those are, and there's so much online that can get you sort of down a rabbit hole. Yes. Yep. So we have to be careful about those things, but there are some that are valuable. What would you say, what kind of passive income things have you seen?
Well, oddly enough, so my son is starting like a t-shirt line. And he realized if I come up with a catchy slogan or two, them shirts sell themselves. So I think look at, you know, I call it a high impact, low drag. Like what can you do or say or sell that some people would buy? And you don't have to do much work. You design it, you put it out there, and that's it. Yeah. There's a company called Same God Knew Me. And my brother, Brian, runs it. And he's a Air Force vet. Brian Corbin, him and his wife are Air Force vets. And it was like overnight, they are making thousands of dollars. Wow. Now, mind you, they working. They got to package those shirts up and get them out the house. But he's been doing it for at least 3 years. And he's stuck with Same God Knew Me. And he didn't have a lot of people buying it before, but he would go to different events. You know, he would travel different places if he could, but he was in the Air Force, so he couldn't do too much traveling. So I would tell young, like, look at and be careful for like those pyramid schemes, right? Yeah. Oh, you know, they don't call them pyramid schemes. I'm going to give them another name, but be careful, you know, about those things and just do your research, because there is a lot of things. What can you sell that people will buy? E-commerce is huge. Yeah, it is. E-commerce is huge. So if you have something that, you know, you outsource the design and they print it and put it together, that's a way. And some of those websites do not cost. My son pays for everything on his own. He doesn't ask us for anything. He is the king of DoorDash. So that's how he gets his extra money. And he's also in college. So that's how he makes his money. But he is the one who was telling me about, he was like, I got a winners have consistency is what he came up with. So he's trying to like figure out what he wants that to look like. And as I talk to people about it, someone's like, oh, I would buy that. You know, I would buy that. So I think for our young ones, they are so creative, Karen. They're so creative. They are. So things like that where it's high impact, low drag, and people want something that when they see it, they feel it. Mm-hmm. They see it, they feel it, it has meaning, and people, will buy it. And remember, your family is not your customer base.
Right, exactly. If you
Your
just
family
sell
isn't
into
your
your
customer
family,
base.
you
Right.
don't really have a business.
Right. And you gotta take it back old school, right? Like old school rappers used to have to sell their mixtapes out of the trunk of their car.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe every now and again you gotta go to a pop-up shop. Mm-hmm. But the people who came to the pop-up shop, they're gonna tell their friends and then they're gonna buy your stuff online. Yeah. So you may have to put yourself in positions every now and again, but e-commerce is huge. Okay. It's huge.
I think what I really wanted to dig into today was those things that are, if you're a woman who is a single mom, mm-hmm. who is maybe working a job, maybe she's also trying to go to school, mm-hmm. Just that mindset of I can't, and how we get past that fear, I guess is what mm-hmm. we're saying it is. Mm-hmm. How do we get past that fear, and how do we break out of, in our community, mm-hmm. How do we support these young women when they finally are able to take that step? What do we need to be doing to support them to make sure that they are successful? Let's go at it this way. What are 3 things that a young woman needs to break out of, thought patterns or what do they need to break out of in order to just get it done?
I think the first one, the most important one, is your own head. Because once you tell yourself that you can do it,
that's good.
It's not really going to matter as much mm-hmm. what other people say. And then the second thing I would say is pick a board of directors.
Okay.
Because not as a nonprofit, but in your life.
Okay.
So if you have people around you and they have never done it, right? They doing the same thing they did when you graduated high school 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. They are, just very negative and all of that. Should they be on your board of directors? Should that be the people you seek counsel from mm-hmm. and you talk to about your plans and your ideas? Because they might be your homegirl from the 3rd grade and y'all been besties. Y'all done been through everything together. She was there for you, when you felt life was falling apart. But she also may be the most negative person mm-hmm. on the planet. Mm-hmm. Should that be the person that you go to with when you say, you know what, I got this plan? In between kids, I had, I wasn't a single mom. I was married. My ex-husband might listen to this and be like, hold on, sister, you wasn't single. However, he had to work at night. He had different shifts. He was deploying, and I would have my boys by myself. So in between doing things for them, when they go to sleep at night, is the negative person, your 3rd grade bestie, the person who's supposed to be the chair of your board of directors?
Right.
You have to start surrounding yourself with people that they're not just yes people. Mm-hmm. They're people who like, oh, okay, sis, I like that. Did you think about this? Did you think about that? Oh, as I'm talking to you, I'm looking up stuff on the internet, trying to help you do research. Those are the people that you have around you. So you break out of your own head first. That's the most important. And then surround yourself with people that are going to be champions for you. I may not know where you're going, and I may not have a desire to start a business. But if I believe in you and what you're doing, and you believe in you, that's a powerful combination.
Yeah, I agree.
And the third thing is be smart about it. Utilize your resources, right? Like utilize the chamber, go to SCORE, mm-hmm. and take your time. Nothing is going to happen overnight. Right. And because I can't is not, I don't know who made up the word can't, because you can do anything. It's just all in due time. Mm-hmm. And if you keep at it, you like, you know what? I knocked 5 things off this year. I'm good. Yep. And you have to make your objectives reasonable, right? You will rarely hear me say goals, because I think goals come with a date and sometimes an age. By the time I'm 34, mm-hmm. I want to have bot. That's not realistic, because when you become 34 and you only got bot, now you're upset with yourself, and you didn't set yourself back a whole year because you're so upset that you didn't reach, that those specific goals with, all those dates and, contingencies on them. And so I think that would be the third one, plan and take your time and be reasonable mm-hmm, with mm-hmm. it. if you in school right now and you got the babies, right? Because that's the scenario. You in school right now, you got the babies. It's only 24 hours in a day.
That's
8 of them
right.
you supposed to be sleeping. The rest of them kids gonna take. Depending how old they is,
And
they
the
got
job.
homework and your job, right? But when you have those moments alone, when you sitting on the tub, and this is gonna, a lot of my best ideas come to me when I'm in the bathroom, and we'll just leave it general like that. Keep you a notebook somewhere, and write it in there, and you write it on your notes, and you let it materialize into, okay, so here's every year on my birthday I come up with 3 goals, 3 objectives, because I don't have goals, because if I don't make all 3, I don't care, just it's whatever. I'm not driving myself crazy. So give yourself the opportunity to be realistic about what you're putting in place and where you are, because can't is not a real word. I refuse to believe it. It's all in due time, and you just have to make sure you just put things in place to get there.
I love that you keep mentioning your notebook and your journal and things like that, because we do have, and I haven't mentioned it yet on one of our episodes, we do have a Queen's Table prayer journal that is available on Amazon, and it's a blank journal, but it's got our nice logo on the front of it, and it's just a reminder of some of the things that we talk about here. So there is, throughout the book, on certain pages, what are 5 ways that I'm cultivating that boss lady vibe this week?
Oh yeah.
What am I doing to make sure that I'm living, that I'm embracing my wellness this week? So it's it's got those prompts in there for you to be thinking about, how am I leveling up? How am I moving forward? So I would encourage everybody, we'll put a link wherever we post the podcast, put a link down there so that you can find it. But it is the Queen's Table Prayer Journal, and it has this logo on it, so you'd be able to find it. But it is so important, I think, for us to take that time, I think, and I love all 3 of them. Thank you for coming up with those off the spur of the moment. So,
well, I go by those, so that is
awesome.
Anything I say, I'm doing.
Okay, so I love that, and I love the getting out of our own heads too, because I think that's where we trip ourselves up before we ever get started. And it's old tapes. Yeah. Old tapes. It's old words that people have spoken over us that come back up out of our own heart. They don't even have to say it no more. Now we're rehearsing it, right? And being able to break those things. And I'm not talking about looking in the mirror and doing affirmations. That may work for some people, and it's never worked for me. But just knowing, and like you said, Victoria did.
That's right.
I want to do this. I'm doing it.
That's right.
And honestly, I have to say, much respect to that queen, because I did the same thing with starting Thule Community Development Group. I was working at the Space Center. And in 2020, when I think Phil and I talked about it before, when the world was on fire, it was okay. It's time to go. I am doing nothing for my community here. And you're watching things like George Floyd. Yeah. And you're watching the whole world erupt in protests. And it was just like, I got to break out of this and go do something. Yeah. Yeah. And so I left. And it was scary. And it's been 3 years now, and I'm just starting to pay myself consistently. But I am now living the life of my dreams. I'm doing what I want to do. So it's worth it. It's worth it to walk through that fear. And I think Joyce Meyer, I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. Yes. Joyce Meyer has a saying, do it afraid.
Yeah, just do it.
Just keep doing it. I mean, fear is not a showstopper. You're going to be afraid a lot of times in your life. Do it afraid, So, and consistency. Yes. Consistency is a big deal. You can't just do it for 2 weeks and be like, it's not working. Right. You got to be willing to put the time in. And it's generally hard to do that after work, after the kids, after cooking dinner and all of that. Yep. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. Phil, do you have any comments on this session?
I felt left out. I'm like, I know.
Y'all
you didn't need me on this one. No, this is a ton of great information, and I felt like you were talking to me on the low a little bit, you know. Regarding the chamber, though, do I have to live on the Space Coast to be a part of the chamber?
You do not, but that is our that's where we service, because they have a like a Central Florida African American chamber, and they take care of like Orlando and all those other subsidiaries. So we are all 72 miles of the Space Coast. We take care of that area. We service that area. So, but you can be a member of this chamber because there are people who have businesses in Orlando, but they want to break out into the Space Coast and bring their stuff here. Yeah. So I'm like, come on, be a member of the chamber, right? Especially if you already established, you know, and let's get those out there. But our, you know, our home base is us, because we didn't have anything like that before.
And I feel like Phil is going to become very popular over here when this podcast starts getting out there, because he does an awesome job. So we definitely want him on the Brevard team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I'm definitely down to help.
All right. So again, thank you so much for being on with us. And until the next time, we're happy for you to join us. We will see you on the next Queen's Table.
Bye-bye.